on par with wine and dinner drinks, what else would you recommend to the people touring Rome?
All right. So in Italy, there's this phenomenon called the aperitivo, and it's very, very important. If you're going to be in Rome and you want to have a real Italian Roman experience, you have to partake in the aperitivo. Dinners, or let's say restaurants don't open until 7:30 because when, let's say, you go out with your friends, it's a Friday night, and you're going to go have dinner. If you said to your friends, hey, let's go have dinner at 7:30, they look at you like you're an alien and say, why 7:30? We have to have the aperitivo first. So the aperitivo means you go to a local bar, a local place, and you have the before dinner drink. Now, this can be something easy like a glass of Prosecco. It can be a spritz. It can be something a little bit heavier like a Negroni. And there's usually food at these places where you go have a drink and you eat some food first. So this is around 6 o'clock. 6:30. So you go and do this. It's time to catch up with your friends, talk. You know, Italians love to talk. So you'll spend like at least 2 hours at the aperitivo. Now it's 8:30. Now you have to get to the dinner place. So now it's around 9 o'clock before you go eat dinner, and dinner's around 3 hours. So that's a typical night out in Rome for dinner.
And is that typical night out for families and well, even like small children? Is this just
Sure.
wow?
Not all families, but a lot of them.
Right.
Sure. You go, and then if you invite somebody to an aperitivo, it's completely normal.
Wow. Okay. That's really interesting. And so what time do you end up getting done dinner?
Yeah, midnight.
Wow.
Yeah, midnight. Sometimes it's even, that's why, of course, when I was younger, it was easy. Then once you start having kids and some of your friends don't have kids yet, they're like, let's go have dinner. I'm just like, oh, it's going to be, I said, can we do it early? Yeah, Brandon, no problem. It's all good. I'm like, 8 o'clock. Yeah, no problem. First, everyone's late, at least 30 minutes. There, you know, and then like, yeah, we made the reservation for 10 o'clock. It's okay. So, you know, not until 1 a.m., you're not going to leave the restaurant.
That is quite an adjustment from the American lifestyle. How long did it take you for you to finally sort of get into that Roman groove?
I mean, I was fairly young, so I kind of hit it in stride. It was more a problem coming back to America, you know, and eating dinner like 5:30, and it's like, wow, dinner at 5:30. This is really early.
Yeah, dude. Most of the weeknights, I'm in bed by the time people in Rome are going out to dinner. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's completely normal in Italy. They like to eat, and they eat pasta every day. Every day.
Yeah. There was something that I was reading. I don't remember now the details of it, but the way pasta is actually produced in Italy is different than it is produced here. There's less ingredients, and I don't know if it was like a whole. I don't know if I started saying it now, it would just be spreading misinformation. But is it true that the pasta just generally is made differently than what you would consume in the United States? Do you know?
I mean, pasta is really simple to make. It's usually just flour and water, and sometimes a little bit of salt, unless it's, you know, with egg, and then you add an egg inside. I mean, it's very simple to make. I think it's more the ingredients that are used in cooking are just, you know, Italians focus on fresh ingredients, and like I said before, not many ingredients. So most main pasta dishes you're going to eat have like 2 to 3 ingredients in it. That's it.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if it was something with like the wheat or I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
So let's get into the wine.
Okay.
I know you're very knowledgeable about the wine, right? You're a sommelier, is that correct?
I am a sommelier. Yeah.
Yes. So
I'm a sommelier. I have my own vineyard in Puglia, in southern Italy.
oh, is that where is that located geographically?
In the heel.
Okay, that's what I thought. So let's get into it. You are in Rome, of course, and now you want to start tasting the wine. Is there a specific operation that you can go to and taste wine? Is there a tour that you offer that you can travel through Rome and taste wine? How would you recommend someone does that?
We offer food tours. And so on our food tours, you go and you visit 4 different places, local places, establishments that, again, you might not want to go by yourself because you might feel a little bit intimidated, but we have a guide, it's a foodie that loves food and wine that goes with you and gives you a whole kind of history on food as well. So it's not a historical tour. You know, we're not going to talk a lot about the Colosseum and historical sites in that aspect. It's more about food and wine. Each place you go to, you eat food, you drink wine, and you kind of work your way through the city eating and drinking. So yeah, it's paradise.
It sounds it. It sounds it. There's just so much to do and so much to eat. Now, is there a specific pasta dish that you would recommend that's maybe a staple of Rome or yeah,
It's called amatriciana, and it's
matriciana.
amatriciana, and it's very
Okay.
simple. It's with guanciale, which is it's like a kind of bacon, kind of like pancetta,
Mm-hmm.
and you just cook that a little bit by itself without olive oil in the pan. It creates its own little, the fat kind of seeps out little by little. Then you put in tomato sauce and a little bit of spicy pepper, like red pepperoncino, and a little bit of red wine inside of it. Let it cook for a while, and then you go to food heaven. And
Yeah.
pecorino cheese on top. The pecorino cheese is important on top.
Okay. And is it like an American restaurant where they come around and they do it for you sometimes? Or
No, no, they don't do that for you. They'll put like a little dish of grated cheese on the table
Okay.
for you. But
All right. So, I forgot. I normally follow in my head where we are located geographically, but we kind of hopped
sorry, we start
around
talking
now.
about food and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the last thing on food. So in
Yeah.
Italy as well, you have it's called enoteca. So enotecas are wine bars, and wine bars are very common to go have your aperitivo. But it's also even later at night. You don't feel like having dinner. You're going to eat dinner later on. You can go into these wine bars and just have wine by the glass and little snacks they usually have as well. So
That
there you
sounds
can get a really
perfect.
good idea of trying many different kind of wines at one time instead of buying a whole bottle. And the people know the wine that are working there, and you can say, "Hey, what should I try?" And usually on a blackboard with chalk for the day's bottles that are open, and 3-4 glass or euros for a glass, and you can taste different ones.
That actually sounds perfect. That seems like a really good way to experience the wine there. When you're in one of those places, it seems like it's fairly easy to speak to people in English while in Rome, especially in the tourist destinations.
Hmm.
I've been trying to learn Italy now. I bought multiple books on Audible, and I try to listen to in my commute to work. It's very hard to find the time to teach yourself the
Sure.
language.
Even just a few words. You'll see Italians love when you speak in Italian, because they don't have to try and speak in English. Even a few things like, hey, ciao, ciao, and then just say a few things. Uh, for example, if you want to get a glass of wine, just say vino would be the most basic way to say it. Bicchiere di vino means a glass of wine. And they're like, yeah. And they'll go and which one do you want? And a lot of them, again, speak. You can try in Italian and then switch to English or go back and forth. Use your hands a lot. Because
Okay.
Italians like to use
Yeah,
their hands.
I can do that. I
So.
can do that. So staying on par with wines, which types? So I'm not a big wine. I like drinking wine, but I'm not very well versed in the lingo around wine. So which wines would you say are top priority when in Rome? Is there a specific vineyard that you would look for, a label on the bottle, or a certain grape? How would you relay that information to tourists?
I think it depends. Now, Rome is such an international place now that any restaurant will have wines, and it's very standard to have wines from all different regions in the country. Even when you go to an enoteca, they will have a wide spectrum of different wines. So it's not so because the wine produced around Rome is not always known as some of the best top quality wine. It's easy drinking wine. It's like the wine I told you in those Ostedias, the one glass for both wine and water kind of thing. But if you want to try a local white wine, it's a Frascati, which is a little tiny town close by, which is it's good. It's a good straight wine, nothing too crazy. If you want to try a local grape from the area for red wine, it's called Cesanese, and it's a hit and miss. Sometimes you'll have a good one. Sometimes you'll try and it's like, oh no, this is not really good. So when you
Interesting.
try
Yeah,
one,
I didn't think Italy could mess up wine at all. Now that being said, you obviously have lived in Rome for a very long time. Do you think your palate has increased obviously over the years in drinking wine? An American, um, would they even notice that it was low quality to Roman standards?
well, I mean, you have people who know about wine. I think all over nowadays. So I think it depends. From my personal experience with all of our customers, I usually, as a general rule, tell them when you go to a restaurant, just order the house one,
Okay.
and it's usually it's very good. It's rare you're going to go into a place and drink the house wine and be like, oh man, this was really, really bad. It's very,
Yeah.
very rare. For some people who may have a more refined palate or just want to try some upscale wines, of course, there's always in every menu. You can find them. But as a
Okay.
general standard rule, get a liter in the pitcher, of house red or house white, and it costs like €5, €7 maybe for a liter of wine, and
Yeah.
it's very good.
Something that my wife and I plan on doing when we're there, because we're going to be with a toddler, we're not going to be able to experience the nightlife and go out. So we're going to buy several bottles of wine and essentially stock up for when we're stuck inside into the evening, and maybe buy some fresh ingredients, try our hand at making pizza, with the ingredients that we have available to us, and sort of make our own little experience in Rome.
That's cool. That could
So
be fun.
yeah, where would you recommend people maybe buy bottles of wine? Is that something that you could just do at the grocery store very easily?
You can buy from the grocery store. Again, obviously, as a sommelier, I'm thinking of certain things probably you should buy. I would recommend instead going to an enoteca and buy the wine directly from them, because a lot of times if you drink a bottle of wine there, the price say you buy a bottle of Frascati, like it's
Hmm.
before, it's like €20 for a bottle. But if you take it to go, usually they discount it sometimes by 25, 30%
Oh, okay.
to go. So yeah,
Okay.
I would buy it more from there, because supermarkets, of course, have decent wines. But why not buy it? You can speak to a guy there at the enoteca, and he'll give you. You ask him what you want, and he can run you through it and give you a better quality wine usually.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So going back to the Roman guy and the tour guy,
Okay.
we went through some of the tours that you offer, and if you could give us maybe the best, your preferred, or I don't know how you want to word it, but a tour that you would recommend to maybe a family that they should definitely do. If they do any tour with you, this is the one. And then maybe a tour for a couple or a younger group of individuals who are touring Rome, like this is the one that you should absolutely not miss out on.
I think as far as a family goes, so we have specific tours geared towards families with children, where instead, obviously taking a 5-year-old to the Vatican is for the 5-year-old pretty much a death sentence. They're bored to death inside of there, and understandably so. So we've set up tours in the Vatican, the Colosseum, specified focused on the children. So there's like a treasure hunt involved. They have a map, and this makes it come alive for them. And of course, this way, as an adult, as a parent, you still get to see everything, and the guide will explain things to you as well. But the guides are focused more on the children, so they're involved and they're immersed in seeing these 2,000-year-old statues or this 2,000-year-old building. But we have it geared towards them to allow them with a map to go and find certain things. They have to go look for it. Hey, find this head, this marble head. Find this coin, and so they're running around trying to find that. And
It's a
this
great
way,
idea.
yeah, the kids are taken care of, and the husband and wife can also go and just enjoy the amazing sights.
Right. That's a
So
great
for the
idea. Yeah.
family, I do it for them. The kid-friendly tours, I think, are by far the best. As for the adults, just like even a couple or a group of friends going, at the Colosseum at night is probably one of the most unique experiences in the city that you can do.
Yeah. I try to do them all if you can, I guess.
Do it all, yeah, of course.
And so, how do you recommend people booking with you? Can they just go into your website or TripAdvisor? Is there a preferred
Yeah,
method? Or?
no, directly on the website, just the romanguide.com or the tourguide.com.
Okay.
And then you can see all of our tours in Rome and all the other cities that we offer.
And something that I'm curious about and always like to ask people who operate tour companies, if someone was looking to get into being a tour guide themselves, is there a preferred method, or are there steps that someone could reach out to the tour guide and start working for you from some city in the world?
Well, if we're talking about Italy, Italy is fairly strict on tour guide licenses. So like I'm an authorized tour guide of Rome, and the exam is notoriously difficult to extreme measures. So in the end, I studied for over a year, and in the exam, which was oral exam, 12 of us took the exam, 3 of us passed. So it's they make you learn so much stuff that you probably wouldn't even never use again in your lifetime. But if you see a tour guide which they all have the license on, they know their stuff because you've had to study a long time.
Is it a history exam essentially?
It's archaeology, it's art history, it's geography, and legislation. Toward legislation.
Wow. And can
Yeah.
anybody do it? Do you need to have citizenship to Italy to study for this test and take it?
No, you have to be a resident. If you're a
Okay.
resident, and then yeah, they only release the exam once every 4 to 5 years. Yeah.
Wow.